The old manor loomed before me, its Gothic facade casting long shadows across the overgrown grounds. An ominous presence emanated from the crumbling stone walls, as if the building itself was alive and watching. I gripped the weathered parchment invitation tightly, and my fingers trembled slightly. 2 weeks ago, that envelope had come unexpectedly, its sealed wax seal inscribed with the mark I didn't recognize. The calligraphic handwriting invited me to attend a private meeting at an abandoned estate on the eve of the fall equinox. I was skeptical at first, thinking it was some kind of strange prank. But the more I pondered the invitation, the more I became intensely curious. What kind of secret event could be going on in this isolated, abandoned estate? Against my better judgment, I was drawn to unravel this mystery. So here I stood, and the ancient iron gates creaked open, as if guided by invisible hands, inviting me in. As I approached the front doors, a chill ran down my spine. There was a silence in the air where I couldn't hear any insects chirping or leaves rustling. The world itself seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. After a moment, the doors slowly swung inward, as if guided by an invisible force. I peered into the cavernous lobby, dimly lit by flickering candles that cast dancing shadows on the crumbling walls. "Hello," I called out uncertainly, and my voice echoed. There was no response except for the eerie creaking of ancient timbers. I stepped cautiously across the threshold, and the floorboards creaked beneath my feet. The heavy oak doors slammed shut behind me, dooming me to failure. I turned around, my heart racing, but the entrance was gone, replaced by a solid wall. I realized I was now trapped. "Welcome, honored guest," came a deep, sonorous voice from the darkness. I turned to face the source, and my eyes struggled to make out a tall, cloaked figure standing at the top of the grand staircase. "We've been waiting for you." Swallowing hard, I asked, "Who are you? What does that mean?" My voice trembled, giving away my growing unease. The figure descended the stairs with an eerie, fluid grace. "All will be revealed in due time," she replied, enunciating the words with a disturbing intonation. As she approached, I discerned a pale, gaunt face beneath the hood, whose features seemed almost inhuman. "You must come with me for now. Our meeting is about to begin." Before I could object, the figure gestured toward the ornate double doors. They swung open seemingly by themselves, revealing a candle-lit ballroom. The cloaked figure slipped through the entrance, inviting me to follow her. Torn between curiosity and fear, I gathered my nerve and stepped forward into the unknown. The ballroom was stunningly luxurious, with intricate tapestries and gilded mirrors reflecting the shimmering light on the walls. A massive crystal chandelier hung overhead, its countless facets refracting the flames to create a dazzling spectacle. However, over all this splendor hovered an atmosphere of decay and abandonment. Dozens of other cloaked figures stood around the perimeter of the room and remained completely silent. Their faces were hidden, only the anxious gleam of their eyes peering out from beneath their hoods. I felt their gaze on me as I followed my guide to the center of the room. "Please make yourself comfortable," the figure said, gesturing to a high-backed chair that stood alone in the middle of the floor. I cautiously took a seat, circling the room with my eyes, trying to figure out the purpose of this gathering. Suddenly, the double doors slammed shut, plunging the ballroom into almost total darkness, save for the burning candles. Silence descended on the assembled crowd, and I felt a growing sense of dread knotting in my stomach. What dark ritual was about to be performed? Without warning, a single spotlight flashed on, sharply illuminating the center of the room. I blinked, blinded for a moment, and then my breath caught in my throat as I saw the sight before me. Directly above the chair I was sitting in, A large ornate mirror in a gilded frame hung in the air, gleaming in the bright light, and in its reflecting surface I saw not my own image, but a scene of utter horror. The mirror seemed to be a window into some other realm, a shadowy dimension of twisting forms and unearthly energies. Amidst the swirling chaos, I caught a glimpse of humanoid figures, their features contorted in agonized expressions. Threads of dark vapor swirled around them, as if drawing them into an abyss of torment. I jerked back, a cry of horror catching in my throat. The cloaked figures surrounding the room remained perfectly still, their fixed gazes fixed on the grim spectacle before us. I could feel their eyes fixed on me, as if gauging my reaction, weighing the strength of my fortitude. Suddenly, a hoarse voice echoed through the ballroom, echoing in my very being. "Behold the realm of endless torment," the voice rang out, its tone rich and sonorous yet ethereal. "This is but a glimpse of the horrors that lie behind the veil of our reality." I froze in place, watching the images in the mirror change and distort. From the shadows appeared shapes beyond comprehension, their very existence seeming to defy the laws of physics. Excruciating screams, muffled and distorted, came to my ears, sending shivers down my spine. "What does that mean?" I stuttered, my voice weak and trembling. The cloaked figure that met me slid closer, and skeletal hands emerged from the folds of her cloak. "This mirror serves as a portal, a window into the darkest depths of the supernatural realm." His voice was hypnotic, lulling me into a state of frightened fascination. "Those you see in its depths are souls doomed to eternal suffering." I shook my head, not believing my ears. "No, that can't be real. It's impossible." The figure let out a low, eerie laugh. "Oh, but it is quite real, I assure you. The forces that govern our world are far more complex and terrifying than you can imagine." Suddenly, the surface of the mirror began to ripple and distort, as if something was pressing against it from the other side. I watched in horror as a pale skeletal hand appeared out of the mirror, blindly grasping for air. Immediately, the cloaked figures surrounding the room broke into chanting, their voices rising. I slumped back into my chair, horror gripping me as I realized that what had been trapped behind the mirror was now trying to penetrate our reality. My hand clawed at the air with bony fingers, desperately trying to find a foothold. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and the room fill with a palpable aura of anger. "What have you done?" I screamed, my voice shaking. "Get me out of here immediately." The cloaked figure looked at me with a disturbing calmness. "I'm afraid that is no longer possible. You have been chosen to witness the coming darkness. Your fate is now intertwined with ours." As the creature's words reached me, I felt a cold dread come over me. I was trapped, drawn into some twisted ritual from which there might be no escape. The surface of the mirror continued to ripple and distort, the skeletal hand moving ever closer. The chanting of the cloaked figures became more and more frenetic, their voices merging into a ghostly, otherworldly chorus. At that moment I realized with absolute certainty that I was at the mercy of forces beyond my comprehension, forces that cared nothing for the sanctity of human life. And when the surface of the mirror began to crack and shatter, I braced myself for the horrors that were about to erupt.